Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the 5 mistakes when building an AR-15. So let's get right into this and not waste any time and go over the 5 mistakes. No particular order, but the very first one is going to be have a plan. I see a lot of new builders especially just going into it being like, this is whatever I want, and kind of throughout the process throwing in different parts, not really knowing exactly the route they want to go. And there's really nothing wrong with not knowing exactly what you want, but I would say if you're a new builder, maybe a first-time buyer, get some insight from somebody and kind of at least get a general direction of where you want to go, get an idea of what parts you want to go with, so you know exactly what you have. So when you go to actually put it together, you're not forgetting any parts. Also, have a general idea of what the purpose of your firearm is for. Is this just a plinking gun out at the range? Is this a home defense gun? Is this a night vision gun? That way you can really find the right accessories for what you're building. Now that you have a general idea of the plan for your gun and the direction you want to take with it and kind of the purpose for that firearm, the next step is to not cheap out. Make sure that you're getting quality parts, because the last thing you want to do is build this gun. You're going to be like, wow, this is so exciting, I love it. And then 3 months, 4 months, a year down the road, you're like, wow, I really wish I wouldn't have cheaped out on certain things, especially things like the barrel that are a lot harder to change out. Get good BCG, get good optic. There's certain accessories that you can potentially save a little bit of money on, but there's other things like the barrel, the bolt carrier group, the optic, things that you want to spend more money on, and make sure you're putting a little bit more investment into that product, especially because you can change little things like handguards down the road pretty easily, stocks, grips. Those things can be changed pretty easily later down the road when maybe your budget is a little bit different. But what I will say is save a little bit longer and get the things that you actually want and that you know you trust, and the things that will work, opposed to just getting whatever you can at the time. And that's actually going into the next step, which is be patient and don't rush into it. I myself have done this so many times with building guns. This is actually kind of a two-part one. Be patient and don't rush into it in the sense of don't rush into getting the cheaper parts or whatever you can get right now instead of waiting. And also another sense in the fact that if you're putting something together, you don't have the right stuff, or maybe something didn't go right, just be patient with it. The last thing you want to do is ruin it, and then you have to wait even longer. I've done this to myself a lot of times where there's a part that I need and I'm like, you know what? I can make this work. This isn't the correct way to do this. This isn't the right tool or whatnot. And I was like, you know what? We can make this work. And I just end up making it worse for myself in the long run. And then it takes more time because then I have to potentially fix the product that I just broke or replace it, which is even worse. So be patient. Take your time with that. Wait until you can afford the right stuff that you want to get. Don't rush into that sense, and the fact of when you're going to actually put this together. Just be patient. There's a lot of small little things like detents. You can lose parts. Don't rush into it, and don't ruin something and make it even longer of a wait by trying to make it quicker. Now, the next thing on my list is going to be making sure you have the appropriate tools. Now, there is a list of tools that are absolutely required, that are must-haves, basically, that you're going to need to build a gun. And there are also tools out there that are just really nice, that makes your life so much easier when building a gun. I highly suggest, after building a lot of guns on my personal time, is getting all those tools. It can be expensive. It can be a little annoying, especially because you're like, well, I just put all this money into all these parts. I really don't want to put all this money into these tools. You know, I got some tools in the garage. We can make this work. I promise you, you don't want to just make it work. Get the appropriate tools. I built a couple guns where I just made it work, and I regret it. I would rather have just waited, spent the money on the right tools. You got to make sure you're torquing things properly. You have to make sure you're putting detents in properly in the right way, so you're not destroying your lower or your upper. So make sure you have all these tools. There are a ton of them. I will show some B-roll here of some of the tools that are definitely helpful and a necessity. Torque wrenches, castle nut wrenches, different detents and punches and hammers. Definitely a good idea to get reputable tools that you know are going to help you in the long run. And the thing is that the majority of people that build their AR-15 are going to want to build another one. So it's not like you're just going to use these tools once and never see them again and they get lost. You are probably going to be using these over and over and over again, like myself, as you continue to build more guns. That is actually one of the most annoyances right now, because we're in between houses, so I haven't been able to actually set up my full bench and everything that I had before at the old house that I'll be able to set up at the new house. So I've been been sending my guns out to Victor's Legacy, which has been a fantastic help in this process because they have been putting together all my builds and projects for me and are phenomenal guys and have done some Cerakote for me. But get those setups and get those tools already, and you will be very satisfied because you'll be using them for a long time, and you will not regret it because it's going to make your whole process a lot easier and less of a headache for you when you try to put this roll pin right here, the absolute most annoying roll pin in the entire build in my mind. That'll drive you nuts. If you have the right tool, so much easier. I have never looked back. I bought, I think it was a Geisley tool where it's like appropriately angled so you can put that one in with no issues, and it is the best thing I ever bought. I think it was like $15, and I would buy 1,000 of those things before I build one without it again because it was so annoying before because it would never actually go in right, and you'd mess up the roll pin, and it's just constant frustration, especially if you only have one roll pin and you mess that single one up and you're like, you know what? I can fix this. And usually you can't because you just make it worse, which is at least my experience is what I did. So learn from my mistakes and just get the right tools the first time, and you guys are not going to regret it. The last thing on my list is just spending money where it's not needed. Buying goofy things to make the gun look cool, or I seen a guy on internet that had a night vision setup and his IR and the 193 mount, and everything just looked so cool, and it does look really cool. But if you don't have night vision, don't waste your money on those things. If you think that, okay, I have to have this really cool anodized grip and it's like $80 because it's like all this fancy stuff, get the things that are absolutely needed, and you can upgrade those crazy cool things later. If you don't need an IR device, don't spend the money on one. Put it into your optic and your barrel and your BCG and the things that really matter, your flashlight. Get things that are what you need. Do not spend extra money on goofy stuff. Put it into the actual stuff that matters and the things that are going to make your gun better. And then after that, which is to roll all this in together after you've built this fantastic gun and you're so excited and you just want to go out and shoot it, actually go out and train with this thing. Put ammo and time and training into that firearm so you get really good with your tool and know how to manipulate it and use it and function it and clear malfunctions. Go to training classes, learn as much as you can about that firearm, and have a great time. Firearms are fantastic. It's super fun to build them. It's super fun to collect them, but it's also a really cool thing to be able to know that you have something that you can protect your family with and others with. So make sure that you are learning how to use that tool so you can protect yourself in the safest way possible, because firearms are an absolutely serious tool, and it's not something you want to be all wimbly about. It's a very serious tool, very serious thing to own. Take it seriously, take the appropriate training, learn as much as you can with this, go out and train and get proficient with this tool. So with all that being said, I really hope this video helps you guys, especially you new builders or just somebody that's looking to build a new gun. Maybe look into it a different way and get the right stuff for your gun and be able to have a really good experience building your gun and not have an extreme headache, which it can be sometimes. So I want this to be the best experience for you. I want you to have a great time. I want you to really be happy with what you built. Be proud of what you built, because it is a cool accomplishment when you build one and it works. You actually go out to the range and it doesn't go click and you're like, crap, I did something wrong. It actually shoots and it's like, wow. Wow, that was fun, really exciting, and you get to do it again, and then you go out and train with it, and you just have a lot of fun with it. So I really want you to have a good experience with it. I hope this video helps. I didn't want to go into a super long detail and make a really long, like 20-minute long video going over each tiny detail and you know, beating the dead horse, but I just wanted to at least give you guys these pointers and tips to be able to help you make a really cool firearm and have a lot of fun with it. So again, always be safe. Training ammunition is the #1 thing that you should always be putting into your firearms, and then after that, get the tools and accessories that you need to make it more proficient. So other than that, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. A couple ways to help support me and the channel. There's some discount codes in the description to help you guys save some money on your purchases with companies that I trust, and there's a link to my website from there. You can do some things to help out the channel as well, and I appreciate those a ton. A couple companies that support me and the channel. Howitzer, a really cool clothing company. I absolutely love these guys. I wear their clothes all the time. Donate 5% of proceeds to charity, and they've donated so much money to charity. Really cool. They do a lot of training and programs and stuff like that. Definitely check out their website, a link in the description. Another website and the people that support me is Brownells. Really love this company, and I definitely recommend them to you guys. Other than that, thank you guys so much. If you guys have any questions about this build, you should be seeing a video coming out very shortly on the suppressor suppressor inside the handguard. Gonna be doing a video seeing if it's actually practical, if it gets too hot. Got a bunch of 300 Blackout, which I just got from Center Mass Ammunition. 300 Blackout was so expensive. It's ridiculous. It's over $1 for subsonic. So I got 100 rounds. We're gonna burn those down and see heat-wise if this is something that is a good idea, or maybe you should just cut the handguard. Because originally, I don't know if you guys know this gun or it looks familiar to you because I've had this gun for a while. My handguard used to be like right here, and it was like a really small handguard because it was a 10.5-inch barrel, so it was like a 9-inch handguard. All my stuff was so crammed down here, and I didn't like that. So I ended up going with a Midwest Industries handguard here. I think it's like 15 inches, maybe a little bit longer. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's a 15-inch handguard, and it just looks so much more clean. But my thought was, does it actually keep the heat away? Because now your hand's basically where the suppressor is. So is this going to be unusable after you burn down, 50 to 100 rounds? So we're going to do that in the video, and that should be coming soon. Other than that, guys, thank you so much, and I appreciate you all.